Today I'm going to show you how you can engrave on pennies using your Silhouette Cameo. We're also going to put together this custom keychain for a customer as well. Let's go ahead and get started. The supplies you will need are cardstock, duct tape, contact paper, X-Acto knife, or you can use a hook, tweezers, or whatever you use to weed vinyl with. You will need an engraving tool. You can use either the Chomas Creations Precision Tip Engraving Tool, or you can use the Silhouette Stippling Tool for the curio, but it does fit any version of the Cameo. The Chomas Creations Blunt End Engraving Tool will not work for the penny engraving. You will need keychain rings if you're following along with this tutorial, scissors, a metal hole punch, jump rings, cutting mat, pennies, metal blanks of your choice, jewelry pliers, or a small jewelry tool set. Now, let's touch base on the metal hole punch. This is the metal hole punch that I'll be using, and I use for all of my metal pieces that don't have holes in them. It has two hole sizes, a 1.5 and a 2 millimeter punch. It's from the Beadsmith. I got it off of Amazon, very inexpensive, and it is very easy to use. You can use it for up to 16 gauge metal, and I will show you more about it whenever we get over to the craft table, but I just kind of wanted to show you that a little bit more up close. Like I said, it's very inexpensive. Now, if you're in my Facebook group or watched the previous tutorial, you've seen a sneak peek of the tutorial that I'm doing today. And this is the full photo of that keychain. It's a keychain I made my mom with all of her kids' names on it. Tag that has the word mama on it and 2 hearts. This one, you've seen the whole thing where I did the 1-inch circle with our forever, 2 hearts, the 1997 penny with the heart around the year, 4 for April, 12 for the day. That's the month, day, and year that me and my husband got married. And just a little nice little personalized piece that I did, just something unique. So I thought that was real neat. And this is what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to be finishing this keychain for a customer. We need to add a penny with her 3rd child's name, a bead, and then a rectangle blank with the word mama on it for her. So that's what we're going to be finishing today. This is a finished piece that I did for a customer that she wanted for a necklace that she already owns. She wanted their initials, and then she wanted 2/14 for February 14th, and then they got married in 2018. Now this one down here was a special request from a customer. She wanted an anklet, and she wanted her 2 children's name, and she has a personal story that refers to a white bead that she wanted on there. And so we did her 2 children's name, London and Declan, and that is her finished anklet piece. As far as these little engraved pennies, there are so many different options that you can do. I'm very interested to see what you do with your pennies for your customers or your family and friends or yourself. If you get into engraving on these pennies, be sure to share and let me know what you do. Let's go ahead and answer a question that I know that I'm going to get from many people. Whether or not can you fill them in with ink or not. Now, I tried with several different pennies, several different fonts, and a couple of different inks. These are 2 pennies, one filled in with Sharpie ink, one done with stamping ink. In my personal honest opinion, none of them looked good with Sharpie ink or stamping ink. Now, it's a complete difference if you're using original metal blanks than if you're using pennies. I think the pennies look better with just the exposed metal. That's just my opinion. I think they look a whole lot better just engraved on only, no ink added. So I just wanted to show you what my experience was with a couple of pennies. So anyway, if you find a better way or you know something that works better, if you are inclined to share, please feel free to share. Let's go ahead and begin our tutorial. At this point, if you haven't watched the previous tutorial, you need to go and watch the template tutorial on how to make a template so that your penny doesn't shift or move during engraving. At this point in the tutorial, you would normally already have your template cut out and your mat already is in your machine with your hole cut out. So when you start this part of the tutorial, like I said, you would obviously already have your circle on your mat, and all you would be doing your wording and your shapes or whatever you're adding to it. I'm going to begin by putting the template onto the mat so we can do our wording. Okay, we need to make a circle for the penny. So now we're going to go to the left-hand toolbar, to our drawing tools, We're going to select draw an ellipse, hold down the shift key, and just draw a circle of any size. Now we'll come to the right hand toolbar, click on the transform panel, go to the second tab, go down to the specified dimensions on width, and type in 0.750. On height, do the same thing, 0.750. Hit enter or apply. That gives us a 3/4 inch circle. When I'm engraving, I like to stay between 9 and 11. That way I'm ensured I'm not around the rollers so that they do not touch my metal, they do not shift or move my metal pieces while engraving. So I stay between 9 and 11 across and anywhere between 2 and 5 down. So I'm going to place my circle at 10 across and 3 down. As I stated before, at this point, you yourself, you would have already had your circle made, your mat is still in your machine, your template has already been cut out. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to make a rectangle for my metal blank. So if you have a metal blank that you're going to use with your penny, you would need to cut that template out at the same time as well. Okay, and now what we need to do is we need to start adding the name. So for the penny, we need to add her son's name, Jackson, and I have a tutorial on how to make the names where you can engrave on them, filling them and all, for designer edition and above and for basic edition. Now, the font that I used on all the penny designs that you have seen so far is Magnolia Script. If I can, I will leave the link to this font in the description box below. So I'm going to choose my font here. I'm going to weld it. I'm going to group it. I'm going to sketch, doing the edge sketch, and I'm going to choose crosshatch. I'm going to advance. I'm going to make the spacing all the way to the left, and I'm going to change the sweep. Now I'm going to go to the transform. I'm going to go to the second tab, and I'm going to choose 300%. Go back to the sketch. Release sketch, go back to transform, second tab, and choose 33%. Now you see how it darkened the red. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate that name. Now I'm going to select both of them. With my transform panel still up, I'm going to choose the first tab. I'm going to go to horizontal and I'm going to go to horizontal align to the center. And this aligns one on top of another. So if I were to click off of it, I have 2 copies. So that means when they engrave, you are actually engraving twice. So now I'm going to select both. You are not going to group them. Do not group these together. I've resized them smaller. Still may need to resize them. Now I'm going to zoom in closer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the name smaller, fit it in here how I want it. Then I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to come down. Now I already have my heart over here and I need to go ahead and get it ready. Now what I need to do is I need to do the word mama. I'm going to select my circle and my rectangle and go to the send button, and because the circle and the rectangle cut on the template, it was on tool 1. Now I need to make sure that they're selected as no cut on tool 1 because you're actually, if you're using a Cameo 3, tool 1 is where I have my auto blade. So I'm actually going to take my auto blade out because sometimes your auto blade can scratch your metal pieces if you're engraving on more than one piece. In this instance, it's not going to because it's not going to go over it because I don't have them side by side, but I make it a habit to take it off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm coming back to the design page because I want to come back. I'm going to zoom in. All right, let me select the name and the heart and then the mama and the 2 heart. Go back to send. I'm going to go back because it's no cut on tool 1. My engraving tool is going to be in tool 2. So for engraving, you're going to go for material. You're going to go to chipboard. Even though it has metal sheets, do not choose metal sheets, please. Go to action, sketch, tool, obviously, sketch pen. Then you have no sketch, sketch, sketch edge. You're going to choose sketch. Speed. Do not choose 10. You're going to choose 2. Your force is going to be 33. You're going to choose 1 pass. In reality, because you have on every image, you have one on top of another, it's actually engraving twice, okay? You're actually getting 2 engravings. If I send it through twice, you're actually getting 4 engravings, which, I mean, it sounds good. That's fine. If you want to do 2, do 2. What I do is I send it through 1. When it comes out, then I look at it. I do not unload it. I look at it. If I feel, after I've wiped it off, if I feel that it needs to go again, I will send it one more time. In all honesty, I have never had to send them back through. Like I said, I use either the Chomas precision tip or the Silhouette Stippling Tool. They both give the same exact result. I've never sent it through more than 1 time. I've never set it for more than 1 pass. I use these same settings as you see here. I recommend just go ahead and let it go through 1 pass. Let it come out, wipe off the metal dust, take a look at it, and decide then if you want to send it back through. I just recommend sending it through with 1 pass, wipe off the metal dust, take a look at it, judge it then. If you think it needs to go back through, go ahead and send it back through then. If not, if it looks good to you, go ahead and unload your mat then, and then you're good to go. So let me go ahead and send this through the machine, and then we will meet back at the craft table to assemble everything together. Okay, so the engraving is finished, and the 1 pass that went through looked perfectly fine. I just wiped off the metal dust and took off my piece of cardstock. Now, I'll remove them both from the cardstock itself. And just a tip, if you happen to have any sticky residue on the back of your metal pieces, usually the pennies don't. Sometimes your metal blanks will. Just get an alcohol pad or just some alcohol on the back of a cotton swab, and you can just wipe that off and your residue comes off. No big deal. So now the next thing that we need to do is we need to put a hole in our penny. So to do that is we need to use our metal hole punch. Now, like I showed you in the supplies list, this metal hole punch is from the Bead Smith that I got on Amazon. It's very inexpensive. It comes with 2 different size holes. You have the 2mm hole, which I use for the pennies, and then it also has the 1.5mm hole, which you can use for metal blanks that don't have holes. If you get the Impress Art blanks from Hobby Lobby, they do not have holes, and the 1.5mm and the 2mm are perfect for those blanks as well. We're going to put a hole in the penny, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to mark your penny. I use a Sharpie, and what I do is I just make sure, you can use a ruler, you can use something to line it up. I just eyeball it evenly right on the top of Abraham Lincoln's head. I just put a dot. Obviously use a dark color Sharpie. And then I use, like I said, the 2mm side. What you do, you will unscrew it just enough to get the screw open enough to insert your penny. Now sometimes I barely screw it in there. It may be a little bit difficult for me to show you. Let me kind of do it sideways, and I apologize if you can't see it as well. But you want to turn it sideways so that you can see where that screw goes, so that it just hits the top of your dot. And bring it up closer to you if you need to. You can barely unscrew it so that you can move your penny around. Okay, on your dot. Okay, now once you get it where you want it, now with you looking at it, which me looking at it too, it doesn't look even, but it is. It's right there on the dot where I want it. Now what you're going to do, take your 2 fingers, your thumb and your index finger, brace your metal hole punch the best that you can, also holding the penny. With your other hand, you want to tighten the screw. It's going to give resistance. It's going to be hard to do it, but once it doesn't give resistance, it is went through the penny. Now it's easier to turn. So now I can unscrew it. It's very easy. Once I pull my penny out, I have my hole, front and back. Now, if you used a larger Sharpie like I did, you may still have some Sharpie residue. Just take your alcohol pad or something with alcohol, and like I said, I just use these little alcohol pads, and then just wipe that off, and you're good to go. And now you can put your split rings, your jump rings, or whatever you want to put in there. You can put them in there easily. Okay? So now what we need to do is we need to add our split rings to our penny and our tag. We also need to add our split ring to our beads so that we can finish our keychain. Now with these little keychains or different things that you can make, you can buy these little bead packs, buy beads, charms, anything that you can find to embellish these little pieces and make them one of a kind. These are the jump rings that I will be using. These have small, medium, and large jump rings. I just picked this small pack up at Walmart for like $2. The small tag here are the 5 by 30 millimeter rectangle stamping blanks from Hobby Lobby. They're regularly $2.49, got them for 50% off. The blank slate by Traditions at Hobby Lobby, you all know if you follow me, especially with engraving videos, that I love this brand from Hobby Lobby. About every other week, they have 50% off. Get them on sale. Never pay full price unless you're in a pinch and need the blanks. So that is the blanks that I used here for this tag. They also do have the larger rectangles. Let me see if I can show you those. There's 3 in this package, and they are 7.6 by 38 millimeter. If you like a larger option, they're also blank slate by Traditions. And before we go on, I was going to show you the anklet, if I can show it properly. So, this is the anklet that I made. It was just simply cut out of a chain, copper chain, the bead with personal significance, 2 children's name with the heart, just a personalized with the clasp on the back. There's just so much that you can make. So anyway, let's go ahead and assemble the rest of this keychain. What we need to do is we need to add the Jackson penny on the other side of this Anna Grace penny and bead. Okay, so we have to have the jewelry tools. And the jeweler's tools that I'm using, I just got this little handy case at Hobby Lobby. So these are the 2 jeweler's tools that I'm going to use today to tail the split rings, because they do come in handy. You will need them so that you do not hurt yourself or get frustrated, needless to say. Okay, so let's start with the penny. We need to start with a smaller jump ring. Now with the jump ring, I'm taking the needle nose pliers, holding it on a side with them. With the other tool, I'm going to hold it on the other side. Now with one hand, I'm going to pull towards me, and with the other hand, I'm going to pull away from me to open it. Now, I'm going to pick up the penny, and I'm just going to slide the jump ring in through the hole, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the larger jump ring, and I'm just going to, obviously, slide it right on there. Now I'm going to take the 2 tools again in the same position, and I'm going to close the jump ring, pulling in opposite directions to close it, pull them together, and then what I do is I take them both and I sort of push them together. Then once that is done, I take the larger one, each tool on the side of the larger one, I pull in opposite directions to open that one, and then put it on the keychain. Then I take both tools again and I close that jump ring tightly and push them together to make sure that it is closed securely. So although it looks fine like that, she wants another bead added and then the mama tag. So with the bead, the only thing we're going to add is a larger jump ring. So now I need to open up the larger jump ring and slide the bead on and put it on the keychain. So the bead already has a stem on the top, so we'll slide it through, and then we will put it on the keychain, close it up tightly, slide that down. And now we need to add the mama tag. So for the mama tag, we're going to use the medium-sized jump ring first and attach a large jump ring and then put that onto the keychain. Okay, we will slide the mama tag on there. Then we'll slide the large jump ring on there. And now we're going to make sure that that's closed up tightly. And now we're going to open up the large jump ring and add it to our keychain for the final piece. So now we'll slide that on there. Okay. And now we set it all out. And there's the finished keychain. And here's the final product photo. And that's the end of our tutorial. I greatly appreciate you joining me today for this tutorial on how to engrave pennies. If you have any comments, questions, and or concerns, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, or you can email me at ourcraftychaoticlife@gmail.com. Also, be sure to join our Facebook group, Our Crafty Chaotic Life, where you can share your creations that you have made as well. I hope you join us next time for another tutorial, and we will see you next time. Happy crafting!